We have got some injury updates that Michigan fans, myself, Jack was up all night. He was texting me at 3 in the morning asking me about this. What's going to happen? What is going on with Rod Moore? He shared an injury update on his Instagram last night. We will talk about that, what it means, what we know, looking forward to the future. Also, I want to remind you guys, subscribe to Michigan Football Report. We're coming up on, 35,000 subscribers pretty soon. We will get there very soon. Need your help to get to that next milestone of 35,000 and stay ahead of the Wolverine and Sloppy Sam and these other YouTube channels who are within 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers. Second story on today's show that you are going to want to stick around for. I have been perusing and texting and talking to people. I think we had a good idea who the NCAA source is that they're basically using for everything, that they're trying to pressure Michigan into more suspensions and recruiting restrictions, and maybe even using to put more of a clamp on Sherrone Moore when the next round of meetings happens, I guess in early June, and then maybe even in August as well. But did want to ask this. Put out some videos last week into the weekend Sunday. Jack, you sent me a message, something along the lines of, man, Ohio State, right here, I got Ohio State fans are in utter shambles over these videos.
I would say over 50% of the comments on those videos were from salty Ohio State or Michigan State fans that kept saying, the hammer's coming, the hammer's coming. That was like 50 to 60% of all the comments this weekend.
Just pathetic. They're more. They like to hate Michigan in their minds. They really love Michigan more than they like their own program. But what we're gonna have to start doing is, I don't want our comments to become a cesspool. So comment me if you're a Michigan fan. Now, if you impersonate a Michigan fan, if you're an Ohio State, Notre Dame, Michigan State, or other fan, and you type me, I find out you're lying. Prison time. We're reporting you to the FBI. So Michigan fans, type me. You guys will be on the good list. Anybody else? Just don't watch the show anymore. We don't like you guys, Ohio State fans. Maybe some Ohio State fans, but not the ones that are haters and losers in the comment. Make sure we know you're a Michigan fan. Comment me, and you will be on the good list, assuming you are not lying. So Rod Moore, last night, posted a video of him running, got a brace on his knee, first time running in 14 months on ground. Had previously done some of non-impact work, a little bit of treadmill, and some of those ones that you're moving your legs but you're not actually running. And I'll say this. Let's just do this, Jack. Can we go back to the photo for 1 second? I kind of want to just look at that bad boy. See what I mean? You take a look at his left leg that he tore the ACL on March of 2024, right as Michigan was getting into spring practice last year, coming off a national championship, 2 months after the national championship, and hasn't run on ground since then. Now, a lot of people said, hey, he's going to go straight to the NFL. He's going to skip this year, of course, because injury being that 2025 NFL draft. Clearly didn't happen because the injury concerns decided to come back to Michigan, got some NIL money, some decent NIL money to do so. But with this being a guy who's missed an entire season of 2024, hasn't run in 14 months. Just think about the atrophy that can happen on a leg. Imagine if you didn't run, or on your leg, how tight and how when I don't work out or exercise for weeks and I have to jog somewhere 100 feet, all of a sudden I'm like, oh gosh, my legs are terrible, they're killing me. So will he be ready when fall camp opens in just 2.5 months, right? It's May 14th right now. Fall camp opens for Michigan, I think July 31st or August 1st, so we haven't decided specifically, but 1 month before the season, 30 days. So going through the timeline, for those of you who haven't followed along, in November of 2023, Rod Moore secured a big win over Ohio State, intercepting Kyle McCord on that last drive when Marvin Harrison Jr. made a business decision. 5 months later, March 2024, tears his ACL, missed the entire season. Now he's running for the first time, and we've got camp coming up in about 2.5 months for Michigan. So to go from this massive knee brace to on the field as a starter in 3.5 months, right? August 31st, and on the pads, ready to make an impact, ready to be a starter for Michigan. Maybe this is why Michigan brought in several players in the secondary. Maybe that's why they went and got the Metcalf brothers from Arkansas and others. Maybe there is some word, right? Mason Curtis is coming back. Brandon Hillman. Is Rod Moore not going to be available for the first game of the season, for the first month of the season? I think it's something that Michigan fans should start readying themselves for. I don't see a reasonable timeline, right? This is just me being reasonable. That If a guy has an ACL and it was so bad that he couldn't return he could run for 14 months and he still has that massive brace. We've seen players have ACLs and be back playing in 6, 7, 8 months. This must have been, more severe. It took much more rehab than I think most Michigan fans, most Michigan media, most Michigan personalities like myself and young Harbaugh Jack over here were led to believe. And I was expecting an All-American performance out of Rod Moore in 2025. I was expecting that in 2024 for sure, based on how well he came in as a 3-star out of the state of Ohio, stole the starting job midway through his true freshman year in 2021, and then was a part of 3 straight Big Ten championship games, championship teams, a national championship team in 2023 as an all-Big Ten third-teamer. I was expecting an All-American season, maybe not first team, but that kind of season in 2024, and honestly, in 2025, but frankly, I'm just not seeing it at this point, and maybe hopefully he could come back and play the second half of the season. Not saying I have any inside source in that. I'm just kind of connecting the dots, reading the tea leaves, and just using common sense based on all the things we know about the human body and what athletes typically come back for. So don't be surprised. We're going to monitor it. We're going to try and see if we can get any scoop on that. But sometimes people are a little bit tight-lipped on injuries because, not anybody outside the doctor and maybe Moore and a couple other people really probably know where exactly he is at. Second story on today's Michigan Football Report. NFL schedule's getting released today, Jack. That's not the second story, though. Who is the NCAA rat? Sniveling, conniving rat that's trying to do good for themselves by trying to maybe spread lies or embellish things to the NCAA. We'll talk about that next. But I did want to tell you guys, I am so excited. We've been talking about Factor Meals, and they are continuing to sponsor the Michigan Football Report. Make this your best season yet with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor. Eating well has never been this easy. You just heat up and enjoy, giving you more time to do what you want. I've said it before. Typically, when my wife was out of town or years back when I was a single guy, my meals were terrible. Either it was candy and, I don't know, whatever, some cereal, or it was way back when I was younger. It was like an apple and a George Foreman chicken breast, which I thought maybe was eating healthy. But when I have my Factor meals, not even in the same galaxy. Now she goes out of town, boom, I order Factor, a box arrives, and I am eating healthy and I am feeling good all week long. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick from gourmet meals that fit your goals. Choose some Calorie Smart, Protein Plus. That's what I picked, Jack. I always got to keep the protein up. Keto and more. Factor powers your day with satisfying breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. It's easy to savor more this spring. Factor meals, packing the flavor with none of the fuss. I can't give one of our sponsors more of a recommendation than Factor. I just love them. Absolutely love everything that they do, and their product is awesome. You can get started at factormeals.com/MichiganChat50off. Use code MichiganChat50off. 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That link and a promo code is the second paragraph of the description down below, and we've got it as a reply to the pinned comment on today's Michigan Football Report. Get started with Factor. Code MichiganChat50 off. So let's keep talking on Michigan's Rod Moore and where are we at with his injury. And I think if this is the last we see with Rod Moore, which I'm not predicting that it is, but we've seen these things happen over time, right? I mean, just think back to, what's his name, Jack, Michigan's current offensive line coach. I'm just spacing on his name. Grant Newsome. Okay, Grant Newsome was a player that was going to start as a redshirt freshman, I think in 2016, maybe 2015, and every year for like the next 2 years, and I took a ton of heat. This is when we were just getting started on Twitter, on Facebook Live back in 2017, 2018. I had a source in the building. I had a source who was a parent of one of the offensive linemen that was starting with him, etc. They said, look, no matter what these blog boys and media people, he is not coming back to play football. The knee is inoperable. He is not going to play again. Grant Newsome got mad at me on Twitter. I don't still think he probably likes me to this day because I broke his story. But so we don't do that as much as we can. So we're just speculating here. I'm not trying to ruin Rod Moore's day, but or out his status or anything like that. But I just want to prep Michigan fans for. I don't think, even if we see him on the field, we're going to see 100% 2022, 2023 Rod Moore. I hope I'm wrong. And we'll monitor the situation going forward. I will ask you guys this question. Comment 9 for his number 9 that they changed to a couple years ago, or no. Will Rod Moore start the season opener for Michigan in about 2.5 months on August 31st? Let me know down in the comments. 9 if it's yes, no if he will not start that opener. I'm going no. Jack, what do you got?
Oh, man, that's tough. I'm going to say no. I feel like him just running yesterday for the first time, it just doesn't seem like enough time.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's like you. All right, let's keep it rolling. We've got some new developments. Remember this guy, right? And I feel weird, Jack, because that looks very similar to not just this coat here, but me and you before a couple seasons ago. I got us the hoodies, the coaches' hoodies. I think it's the same or it's very similar to the one we have. And the fact that his name's Yood, when you glance at it really quick, it kind of looks like Yoder. I'm always like, okay, this guy looks kind of, they're wearing the same shirt I do a lot, and his name's Yood. I don't like him, but he is a sick, perverted freak show who was caught by some internet vigilantes, within the 30 minutes of the Ann Arbor, Detroit area. In early 2023, right? So it's been 2+ years since it was happened, but it didn't come out until like August or October, November of 2023. It finally broke, and it was a wide media story that Alex Yood, who was a student, then got hired for a year or so for the Michigan football program in an assistant staff kind of manner, much similar to like the Connor Stalions. Right? He's coming in to do the grunt work, to get ahead in his career, to prove that he has what it takes. I am hearing that this disgraced pedophile, remember, he got caught by some internet vigilantes who try and set up guys who were talking to young girls on chat lines and internet chat rooms at a Walmart, trying to get vodka because he was meeting up with what he thought to be a 13 or a 14-year-old girl. And he's wearing his Michigan gear. What an idiot. What is a Oh, God, sick bastard. But caught, right, trying to seduce a 13-year-old girl. But here's where it's interesting. And we've talked about this for a couple years now, but now we're putting the dots together. We've got some real info coming in there. His dad, right, he is from Massachusetts, right? Who is the former governor of Massachusetts? Charlie Baker. Who's Charlie Baker? He is the current NCAA president. His dad, Yood's dad, this name is staying in their name, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, we're going to... one, Michigan didn't stand by us, which of course they shouldn't have. That's disgusting, right? So we're going to try and get some sort of deal, clear his name somehow. I don't know if that's possible. They're not. It's not like it's a football-related thing for you. It's pedophilia. And his dad's going to use his relationship with Charlie Baker to get his son in there to be the rat. What was Connor Stalions doing? What did Sherrone Moore know? What did Jim Harbaugh know? And what I was told is that Yood is the source, and maybe the only source that the NCAA is using, which if you read the briefings and everything they put out related to the Michigan Burgergate and the Stallion Spygate situation, is they've got sources that they have not named, right, trying to keep it quiet, and there's a lot of people out there in and around the Michigan circles that think that Yood is the only guy they're talking to, and the reason they're not naming him and trying to keep him confidential is because they don't want the world to know that their source is a guy caught trying to buy vodka to go try and bang a 13-year-old girl in a parking lot in the backseat of his fucking car. All right, so this could turn out to be not fully vetted, but I trust the source. I trust the information. And I think the NCAA is going to have some egg on their face if it turns out this is fully vetted, that this information comes out, that Alex Yood, disgraced pedophile, was the source trying to get revenge on Michigan for whatever, things he thinks they did him wrong that let him get thrown out there to the wolves after he was caught as a pedophile. So switch gears here for a second as I'm done with Alex Yood for a moment. Got one more thing to talk about related to Alex Yood. Yeah, Alex Yood is this question. I was having an argument with somebody, a guy in the city of Dallas, who probably doesn't follow Michigan as closely as I do, not even anywhere closely, but certainly as a Cowboys fan. Who had a better career at Michigan? Given the injuries and missing almost half his entire third season, Will Johnson or Jordan Lewis, who played 4 seasons, kind of got better every year, was like all conference his third year, All-American second team or so his fourth year, and I think it was Jordan Lewis was drafted in the second round, maybe the third round, but both were second round draft picks. Who had a better career at Michigan? Will Johnson, WJ, or Jordan Lewis? It's about as close as you get. I'm going to lead on Will Johnson just because he got the national championship, and I think he's over a more talented player. But I think accolade-wise and amount of plays they made, I think there's a strong argument either way. Stay on this for 1 second, Jack. I'm going to get a little tickle in my throat. Before we talk about our last little topic of the day here. Going back to Alex Yood here. I do want to address this on the show because I've talked about it on Twitter for, 20 months or so. I think there's a guy named Isaiah Hall who works for Wolverine Wire, whatever the hell that is, USA Today. He doesn't actually work for Wolverine Wire. He's a contractor. He's getting paid like $30 an article to say he's a credentialed media member. He's in his mid-30s, lives in an apartment. He's never been married. He's got no kids. So this guy's a real winner, right? And everything's Jesus with him now. He's Jesus this, Jesus that, Jesus that. He's wearing Jesus King hats. I don't want the world to forget, right? Who is the guy, me, who came out and said anyone who knew about this, that covered it up, that didn't report out the second they knew about the Alex Yood situation, the pedophile stuff, is a sick bastard, is a piece of Yood, and needs to be, uncredentialed, get kicked out, disgraced from media. And they all knew it. Sam Webb knew about it, right? They don't want to put anything out that's going to hurt the Michigan football program. But the one guy actually went far and said it. And I put the link to the video. So go down in the description, third paragraph. I put the link to a tweet I put out in November of 2023. Isaiah Hall went on. He went on his YouTube show that is not watched by many people, does a lot fewer audience, less audience than we do. And he said, people are asking me about Alex Yood. Yes, I knew about it, but no, it's not my place to report on it. It's not my place to say anything, right? And even if I wanted to, my boss wouldn't let me to. And it kind of harkens back to this. If you kind of put all that in there, if you kind of think about what kind of guy this is, right? He's trying to Jesus' king hat every day, trying to, show you how holy he is and how religious, how sanctimonious he is, right? But when it comes down to, Elon Musk had a great line a while back. He said, there are so many people out there that claim to do good through their words, but their actions are evil. That lines up with Isaiah Hall as probably as closely as any saying I could ever imagine. His insider status, when he said, okay, I couldn't do it, even if I wanted to, he didn't want to make his boss, whoever the hell that is, mad, or the Michigan athletic department and Dave Abloff and the media relations department mad that they would put a stain or say something bad about the Michigan football program. So to him, the thing that meant more, right, because he could have just said, I didn't know anything about it, right? He didn't have to say, yes, I knew about it. He had to brag that he knew about it, right? He had to say, yeah, I knew about it to secure, yes, I was an insider, but then, well, I couldn't report on it because that's not my place. And even if I could, I wanted to. So he wanted to tell you, I knew. Isaiah knows everything. I'm an insider, but I couldn't say anything. So his insider status, which isn't that great, I don't think many people gave him any information that actually know anything, was more important to him than seeming like a good, decent human being. Isaiah Hall is a first-class and I've got a little story for you guys if you want to know how much he is. I've taken shots. I'd never met him before in my life. We've taken shots. I think his content's crap. I think he's immoral person. Well, we're at the National Championship game, Media Day. Jack and I went with our guy Chase Sr. We covered the Media Day down there in Houston, National Championship game, January 6th, 2024. And all the blog boys were there, et cetera, et cetera. And we didn't stick around for the Washington part. We wanted to get back and make a show. Bryce Underwood was committing that day, if you remember, Jack. We had to prep for a show, get all the footage we had, put it out there for you guys to enjoy. And who walks in? We'd like the first two in the bus. Who walks in and sits about 4 seats ahead of us? On my side, it was Isaiah Hall. Now, I didn't recognize him at first. And on the other side were two of the other blog boys from On3, Anthony Broom and Clayton Safey, right? I only found this out afterwards because my guy Justin Spiro told me because he's friends with one of them. And Jack's sitting there. Now, Jack is wired into his computer. He's editing videos, etc. And Hall doesn't know I'm there, right? I'm kind of looking down. We're trying to get our content plan together. And I heard him say, and I'm in my phone looking at things, trying to tweet out videos and all this. We did so much content. I heard him say, he goes, did you see who was in there? I can't believe they fucking let James Yoder into this, right? And I go like this. I go, and I'm waiting 1 second. I'm like, this fucking guy's serious? Like whatever. And I wait about 10 seconds. I look up. I'm staring at the back of his head, waiting for him to turn around and go like this, like that. And so I saw then the guys on the other side, Broom and Safey, they're on their phones like this because they saw me, right? He looks at his phone. He looks over at them. He turns around, makes eye contact with me and goes like this. Look, yeah, you're me, right? So he's on this side, looks at his phone, looks at them, goes, turns around as fast as you possibly could. I have never seen a grown man more scared, more caught with his hand in the cookie jar. He could have said it to my fucking face, and I just sat there and smiled. I'm not going to start. I'm not going to be an asshole. I'm a professional. I'm here with my employees, etc. But if he says something to me again, I'd have beat his ass right there on the bus. Jack would have my back. He'd have taken out the other two guys. That's the kind of guy he is. Talking shit on the internet, came face to face with me from about 6 feet away, scared the likes of which you couldn't imagine. I said something to Jack afterwards. Jack's like, "Oh, I didn't even see that. I hear him say it." Like, you didn't hear him say, "Can't believe Yoder's in there." So it was, what's that? Jack was wired in.
I was so wired in that I just didn't even, the world around me didn't exist.
But verify that I told you this exact story the moment we got off the bus.
Yeah.
So no kind of pulling back from trying to make something up. That's exactly what happened. He is a scaredy cat. He is an immoral SOB. I want you to go watch the video I put. It's like the third paragraph of the description of the video, right below the Factor Meal sponsor part. Watch that video if you haven't yet. And that's the kind of guy Isaiah Hole is. And the whole Yood thing just brought me back to how much of a POS Isaiah Hole is. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter X James Yoder, Instagram Michigan Football Report, TikTok Michigan Football Report, and on Facebook. Still can't get the URL change. It's Harbaugh Go Blue. Facebook will not let us change it for whatever reason. Tomorrow, we're going to have more on the NCAA investigation update. The NCAA is not backing down like a lot of Michigan fans are being led to believe. You'll want to watch Thursday's video. Go Blue.